Goedemorgen en welkom bij de webinar DevOps at Scale, de eerste webinar van de Enterprise DevOps Masterclass series. Mijn naam is Roos Meijnen en ik ben jullie host voor dit webinar. Ik wil graag nog een enkele huisregels benoemen voordat we beginnen. Alle deelnemers staan op mute en de camera is uit. Vragen kun je stellen via de panel aan de rechterkant van je scherm. We zullen alle vragen aan het einde van de webinar die behandelen. Oké, dan geef ik graag het woord aan Mark.
Dankjewel Roos. Leuk dat jullie er allemaal zijn. Ik ga er even vanuit dat iedereen aanwezig is, dat we echt kunnen gaan starten. De agenda voor deze webinar is even een korte introductie van zowel Quint als Atlassian, waar we dit webinar samen doen, en ook de sprekers. Daarnaast gaan we even in op de Enterprise DevOps webinar series, de masterclass series waar Roos al over had. Dat zijn er 3. Vandaag hebben we de eerste, maar ik zal de overige 3 gaan we ook even toelichten aan jullie en aangeven wat daarin te verwachten valt. En vervolgens zullen we ook richting het eerste webinar gaan. Even een korte introductie van Quint. Velen kennen Quint waarschijnlijk al. Internationaal bedrijf, 7 kantoren in 7 landen, met name in Nederland gefocust. Met zo'n 250 consultants focussen we ons op digitale transformaties. We hebben een zevental proposities waar we ons op richten. Vandaag richten we ons vooral op de Enterprise DevOps propositie en de Lean Agile Enterprise propositie. Dat zijn de focuspunten op dit moment voor deze webinar. Dus als Quint, kijkend naar Atlassian, als je op een website komt, ik dacht hoe ga ik hem introduceren, maar als je op een website komt eigenlijk deze tekst omhoog. We make tools like Jira and Confluence that are used by thousands of teams worldwide, and we're serious about creating amazing products, practices and open work for all teams. Dat is in het kort wat Atlassian doet. Velen kennen Atlassian waarschijnlijk van tools als Jira en met name ook Confluence, echt als backlog management tools. Maar er zit nog veel meer in het portfolio en daar gaan we vandaag ook naar kijken. En hoe kun je die tools dan ook inzetten op een agile of op een DevOps way of working. De sprekers van vandaag, Hermans Ndonga, Solution Engineer bij Atlassian. Hermans komt uit Frankrijk, dus die zal haar webinar ook in het Engels geven. Dus ik zal straks even switchen naar het Engels. Het eerste deel doen we in het Nederlands. En ikzelf, Mark Albertsen, werkzaam bij Quint. En ik ben de practice lead voor de Enterprise DevOps propositie. Als we kijken naar de webinar series, dan starten we vandaag met DevOps the Atlassian Way. Daar zitten jullie nu in. Dus we gaan met name kijken hoe kun je het Atlassian portfolio inzetten om ook DevOps te werken. Los van de Jira's die heel veel klanten wellicht al gebruiken. Welke tools zijn er nog meer en hoe kun je eigenlijk je DevOps straat verrijken met Atlassian producten. En de tweede, waar we die volgende week dinsdag van 11 tot 11:15, hetzelfde tijdstip als vandaag, gaan we focussen op hoe ga je nu technologie als randvoorwaarde inzetten voor je DevOps transformatie. Welke modellen, referentiearchitecturen als IT voor IT bijvoorbeeld kun je daarvoor inzetten om uiteindelijk ook je tools daarin te laten passen. En welke tools worden nu gebruikt binnen je organisatie, binnen de teams? En zou je eventuele tools ook als organisatie, als platformservice kunnen gaan inzetten. Waarmee je eventueel ook kostenbesparingen en efficiëntieslagen kan gaan maken. Dat is waar we volgende week op ingaan. En ook volgende week, maar dan op de donderdag op een ander tijdstip van 2 tot 2:15. Gaan we in op het transformatieplatform wat wij als Quint hebben gebouwd en aan het bouwen zijn. Dat is een lopend iets waarbij we de MVP al af hebben. Waarin wij organisaties hun DevOps transformatie willen laten digitaliseren. En door coaching ook digitaal te maken. Teams in staat te stellen om te groeien door adventures en quests te spelen. Waarbij het platform fungeert als digitale coach. Dat is ook waar we in de derde webinar op ingaan. En ook zullen demonstreren. Allereerst gaan wij de Atlassian Way op DevOps gebied doen. Daarvoor hebben we straks eerst 2 polls die we jullie willen laten invullen. Dus in jullie scherm verdwijnt straks een vraag waar jullie ook een antwoord op kunnen geven. En dit stuk wordt even begeleid door Roos die dit gaat opstarten. Na die tijd zullen we de resultaten delen en zal ik Hermans ook introduceren.
Bedankt Mark. Ik zet de eerste poll in. En de vraag is, ik maak gebruik van tools binnen het Atlassian portfolio, Jira, Confluence, etc. Selecteer ja of nee. Ik zie al antwoorden binnenkomen. Wacht nog heel even een paar seconden. Nog heel even, yes. Dankjewel. Nou, gaat redelijk gelijk op. Ik sluit nu de poll. En de resultaten laat ik even zien. 58% zegt ja. Ik gebruik al tools binnen het Atlassian portfolio. 42% zegt nee. Bedankt voor het invullen. Dan gaan we naar poll 2. Van hoeveel tools binnen het Atlassian portfolio maak je gebruik? Antwoorden geen, 1, 2, 3 of meer. Ik zie al wat antwoorden binnenkomen. Wacht er nog even een paar seconden. Wacht heel even, want ik zie nog steeds antwoorden. Yes. Bedankt voor het invullen. Dan de resultaten. 39% zegt geen, 17% zegt 1, 28% zegt 2 tools en 17% zegt 3 of meer. Hartelijk bedankt voor het invullen.
Oké, dankjewel Roos. Nou, we hebben in ieder geval een gemêleerd gezelschap. Ik denk iets meer dan de helft gebruikt al Atlassian tools. Dus dat is mooi. Kunnen we ook gaan kijken hoe die ook in een Atlassian jasje in een DevOps werkwijze ingezet kunnen worden. En daarnaast van 42% gebruik ik nog niet. Dus nou, welkom bij Atlassian. I will switch in English now. So Hermans, thank you for being here as an Atlassian solution engineer. You're going to present DevOps the Atlassian Way. Thank you. And I think Roos will switch from me to Hermans. So Hermans, the floor is yours. Good luck.
Thank you. So, are you able to see my screen right now?
Yes, we are. Thank you.
Perfect. All right. Hello, everybody. Sorry for not speaking Dutch. Indeed, I'm French. So my name is Hermans Sendunga, and I'm a solution engineer for Atlassian. So I work for Atlassian for 3 years now. And so my role as a solution engineer is to help our largest customer to better understand which tool they would need in order to fulfill their requirements. So today we are going to talk about the DevOps solution of Atlassian. I will start first with our definition of DevOps. So what do we mean when we say DevOps? So we are all aligned on a definition. And after that, I will go through a DevOps flow of our tool. So just presenting you all the tool and how they can be used in order to achieve a DevOps practice. And I will finish with some pro tips, just stuff that we notice because we are working with a lot of companies. So the DevOps for us is a culture where the development and the operation collaborate together. They work together in order to implement a fast and reliable delivery flow. So it's actually a culture and not just a tool. And this comes from Jim Kim's The 3 Ways of DevOps, very good book. And so in this book, the DevOps is defined on 3 key pillars. The first one is the culture. And so this means that you need to install in your company, or at least in those teams, some culture that will enable you to achieve DevOps. For example, having great transparency between the team or between the individual inside the team. Another thing that is really important is to be sure that you create a safe space where everyone is feel comfortable to provide remarks, to provide improvement. And so on this, if you're interested in how to bring this culture into your company, you can check our team playbook. But this will also be the topic of the third webinar provided by Quint. The second pillar are the practices. So of course, when we are talking about DevOps, this also relies on Agile, on Scrum, Kanban, and all these good practices. So if you're interested, we have an Agile coach, which is available online. And this Agile coach is not only restricted to the people who are using our product. It's definitely something that you can use even if you're not using Atlassian product themselves. But so the third pillar are the tools, and that's what I'm going to discuss right now. So this is actually how Atlassian sees the DevOps environment. So we will first start with the plan phase using Confluence and Jira software. Then we will go on the build phase, so how to build the code with Jira software and Git Bucket. After that, we will go through the continuous integration and deployment phase. So for that, we will use Git Bucket or Bamboo. And at the end, we will see how we can manage operations, so the operate, which is the ops in DevOps, and get continuous feedback with Jira Service Desk. So just so you know, what I'm going to show you now are screenshots that I take from our cloud product. So half of you already use Atlassian product. Maybe you are currently using server product, so the screenshot might look different of what you're seeing. But the feature that I will present remain the same. Just the UX and UI can be different, but the feature will be the same. Okay, so let's jump into it. First, the plan phase. So in order to plan, the best practice to start with is to use Confluence. So Confluence is actually the only tool that I'm going to present now that can be used in any type of context in your company. So not only for DevOps. So it can be used by HR in order to document their HR processes, or by your legal team to document legal stuff. But in the context of DevOps, we will use Confluence in order to document each and every step of the product, the software that we are developing. So as you can see here on the left side, we used Confluence in order to document our sprint planning, our retrospective, so at the end of the sprint. But what I'm going to show you right now is how you would document product requirements. So for that, on the Confluence page, you will simply write all your product requirements. And then, without leaving Confluence, just by using a feature, you would just underline the text and you would create a Jira issue directly from Confluence in one click. So this will enable you and your team, when you are doing your product requirements, to not leave Confluence and go to Confluence and then log it somewhere. You would just stay in Confluence, write all your user story, and then add them as a batch into Jira software, which will be your backlog. So let's jump into Jira software to see how this backlog looks like. So for those who don't know, Jira software is actually our project management tool. So Jira software has been designed exactly for this type of scenario, where you are a software team and you need to work agile. And so you need to log your work somewhere. You would do it in Jira software. So what we see now is actually the backlog view of Jira software. As I mentioned, you can create the issue directly from Confluence, or you can come in Jira software and create them directly in the backlog. So this backlog view is what your team would look at before to plan the sprint. So that's where the team can prioritize the story. That's where the team can assign story points. That's where the team can decide who is going to be assigned to which user story. And so once your sprint has been created, what your team is going to work with is actually this board view. So the board view will enable your team to move story as soon as they are complete into the workflow. And so as soon as the sprint is done, so when there is no days remaining, in one click, you can complete the sprint, and this will trigger automatically reports. And so the whole point of this report is that you will use them in order to plan your next sprint. And so that's how the Atlassian tool fit into the plan phase. So now let's see how we actually build, because right now we saw Confluence, okay, we saw Jira, but not the part of building in Jira, just the planning part of Jira. So let's go inside a Jira ticket. So what you see now is a Jira ticket. First of all, you can see that the description is very brief, but it's because if you look a little bit under, you will see that this issue, this Jira issue, is linked to a Confluence page, which describes the user story, just like I showed you before. The second thing that you can see here is the link issue. So this is very important because that's where you know where your issue is dependent of. So are you dependent of the work of someone else? Are you dependent of another bug or another release, another feature? That's where you would see that. Of course, on a Jira ticket, you would be able to see to which version this is associated, the priority of the fix. But what I want to show you right now is the integration between Jira Software and Bitbucket. So for that, I will go on the top right corner and click on the development panel, create a branch, because that's how I'm going to be able to work on the code actually. So I'm just going to go and click the create branch button, and this will bring me directly into Bitbucket, where a new branch will be created automatically named after the Jira issue that I created. And just in one click, I'm now able to go and check out the code in source tree. Source tree is our product, but you can just use the terminal, like where you will build your Git. So again, in just one click, you now have your branch created. And right now we are in Bitbucket. So what is Bitbucket? Bitbucket is our product, is our code repository, Git repository. So Bitbucket is definitely where you would have all your file for Git. That's where you can create commits, that's where you can create branches, and that's also where you would create pull requests. So it means that when you modified a little bit of code, you would then merge it into the master code. So as you can see, to create a pull request, super easy. Everything is kind of fulfilled automatically. You can add reviewers, and then by creating the pull request, I will now have a very detailed view of what type of code I changed, who is the reviewer, what is the Jira issue associated to it, and everything that has been done under this branch. And so that's how you would actually build your code, thanks to Jira Software and Bitbucket. Now that we planned everything, that we build the code, what we want to do is actually to integrate the code and to deploy it to where it belongs, so Docker, any type of application. For that, on cloud, we would use Bitbucket pipelines. So that is where it's starting to become a little bit technical. So I'm not going to go and deep dive into the technical part of this, but just so you know, the whole point of having continuous integration and continuous deployment, so CI/CD, is to deploy the fix as soon as they are ready. And so you would deploy it directly instead of waiting a big release at the end of the month or after 2 months. So this will enable your customer to have better experience, of course. And by automating this process, you will have your developer focus on something which is more important than to deploy all the time. So just to show you how it is under Git Bucket pipeline, I just want to show you how easy it is to use it. So just in 2 clicks, you would just select a template where you want to deploy. After that, you of course would need to integrate it with the product that you're using, like yours. And then after that, the build can start directly. So it's just to show you how simple it is. Now, this is valid only if you're using Git Bucket Cloud. On server and data center, so it means that if you need an on-prem deployment, if you need to be behind the firewall, you would not be able to use Git Bucket pipeline because this feature is only for the cloud. On server, you would need to use Bamboo. So Bamboo is our tool which is dedicated to continuous integration and continuous deployment. It means that if you would have Git Bucket server, in order to have continuous integration and continuous deployment, you would use Bamboo. Bamboo is more complex, but also more complete than Git Bucket pipeline. And so it works with remote agents. And so you can do way more. You can also do differently. So for example, one of our customers, the NASA, they are not using the Git technology because Git is too flexible for them. So they cannot use Git Bucket. However, they are using Bamboo to deploy into their environment, even though they are not using Git. So that's also one of the reasons why you would use Bamboo instead of Git Bucket pipeline. Okay, so now everything has been planned, built, and everything is integrated. So how do you manage to get the feedback from your users? For that, we would use Jira Service Desk. So Jira Service Desk is really a tool that has been created for operation team, for IT team and operation team. What it means is that it's a ticketing system, just like Jira, but in the mindset of there will be a customer and an agent. And so because of that, you have a different feature than in Jira software. First of all, you have this portal that we see now, but you also have SLAs, so to be sure that you provide good customer support. You also have queues that enables you to really sort the incoming requests. So Jira Service Desk is really our tool for operation team. So you would provide your customer, when I say customer, it can be external customer or internal customer, it doesn't matter, just the people that are using the service that you provide. They would log in and they would see this portal. On there, they can find the team that they want to contact, or if they don't know, they can use the search bar. Anyway, they will be provided with a form that they can fulfill, very easy, and this will enable your operation team to collect the right amount of information. Once a ticket like that is fulfilled, and so let's say that it's a bug that one of your customers found. This bug is going to be logged, and so what we see now is the interface for your operation team. So as you can see, top left corner, we are now in the IT operation project, and it's a service desk project. What you see on the left are the queues, as I said, and so now your agent need to work on this. Your operation team need to work on this. But so how do we close the loop? And so that is what I'm going to show you right now. By opening a Jira Service Desk ticket, you will notice that it really looks like a Jira software ticket. But you have this feature which is called link issue. And so you can create in one click a new issue in the Jira software project that we were looking at just before. And so Now, when I will click on this, I will see the Jira software ticket that has been added in one click to the backlog of my Jira software team. And so now I have two tickets that are linked together. One is with my software development team. The other one is my operation team. The operation team keeps the communication with your customer, and the software development team is free to work on this bug on the agile way, using the board, using the backlog, etc. And so that's how you close the loop actually of continuous feedback going back to the plan, because now the feature has been added to the backlog in Jira software. So that's it for this infinity loop of Atlassian product. So now I will just go through a few pro tips. So the first one, if you want to start using Atlassian DevOps tool, is that maybe during this presentation I mentioned some practice that you are not doing yet. For example, you are not working in sprints, or you are not using Scrum methodology, but it's fine. It's maybe just because the tool that you're using right now do not allow your team to do it. And so it's true that the practices are very important, but if you try to bring the practices without bringing the tools, the practices cannot be adopted by your team. The second thing is that it's really okay to go one step at a time. So at the beginning of this, in my introduction, I mentioned Jim Kim's 3 ways of DevOps. And so if you look at this and you look at this perfect way of working, well, it can seem very difficult to get there. But it's fine to just start with saying like, okay, let's work in sprint. And then your team will realize that having sprint that are always the same amount of time is easier just to have. And then after that, if all the teams agree on how we give story point, it will be easier too. And then if you notice that having only a few branches open for a certain period of time makes your work easier. If you take this step one at a time, at the end, you will reach the goal. The last one is that you need to make sure that you promote these new standards. So if you want to introduce that, you need to make sure that first, maybe there are some teams that are already using that in your company. So promote them. And every time that a team managed to achieve something which is valuable, so for example, 20% less bugs for the last release, or a shorter time to resolve an incident, make sure that it's that the whole company can be aware of it. And so when another team is inspired by it, make sure that they have an easy way to get on board on those tools. That's it for me. Thank you very much. I think we will go now for the question.
Thank you, Hermans, and thank you, Mark, of course. Yes, we have a few questions. Let's see. The first question, the tools that were demonstrated in the presentation are all easy to integrate with each other. Is that simple, or does it involve a lot of customization?
So the tool that I presented, Confluence, Jira Software, Git Bucket, and Jira Service Desk on cloud, do not require any customization to be integrated. As soon as you create them, they will be integrated automatically. That's for cloud. On our server deployment, you would need to connect them with an application link, but that's super easy and it doesn't require any kind of customization to do what I show you today.
Okay, thank you. Then I have a second question. In our organization, we have several Jira agencies and many teams. How can we move towards a scalable solution? Think here about supporting a safe framework, among other things.
So first of all, if you have if you have multiple Jira instances, I think the best would be sure that all these instances are aligned and eventually consolidate them into one, because again, having agile at scale means that the whole company has the same definition of agile. So sharing the workflow, sharing the story point, sharing the sprint, etc. So that would be the first one. Then after that, if you want to take a level up, we have a product which is an add-on for Jira, which is called Portfolio. And so this will enable you to align all the projects on one time frame, kind of. So Portfolio for Jira is really to manage a portfolio of projects. And then on top of that, if you want to really bring agile at scale for your whole company, we have another product which is called Jira Align. And so this is really in order to support the safe methodology for your whole company. So there are a few steps. First, aligning on one Jira instance could be the best one, then Portfolio, and then Jira Align.
Okay, great. Well, that's it, I think. Thank you, Armand, for your presentation. And thank you, Mark, for yours, of course. I will switch to Dutch again. Beste deelnemers, bedankt voor het luisteren. We zijn aan het einde gekomen. De slides worden niet gedeeld, maar de webinar is opgenomen. Dus mocht je willen terugkijken, hou dan onze LinkedIn en YouTube kanaal in de gaten. En zoals Mark ook al zei, we hebben op onze website alle nieuwe webinars gepland. Dus daar kan je doorheen kijken en je voor aanmelden mocht je dat graag willen. De vragen die nog niet behandeld zijn, die zullen we aan het einde, de komende dagen offline beantwoorden. Dat is gewoon 1 op 1. En als laatste zou ik graag willen vragen op het moment dat ik het webinar sluit om nog 3 vragen in te vullen. Dat zijn de evaluatievragen. We willen heel graag weten wat jullie hiervan vonden. Dat was het. Nogmaals hartelijk bedankt. Thank you again, Hermans. And have a good day, everybody.